Welcome back to our ongoing game of Vampire the Masquerade, New Orleans by Night. This is chapter 15 or 16? 16 of our story. Wow, we've come a long way. Speaking of, we had a lot go down last time we played, and Monica, you are on the chopping block. So you mind telling us a high-level view of what happened?
We fought.
That's true. The end. Okay, moving on.
No. So basically, we got there. The prince said to everybody, "Iris is going to be watching y'all, so don't do any betrayals." The Nosferatu snuck around by the swamp, and then Andre and Sierra and Dutch went to sneak and scout, and they said there was like a big mound of dirt, a big bonfire, and like guys in hooded robes or some shit.
Yeah, off in the kind of the corner.
So then we started going. We did a mass like pass unseen or whatever, and yeah, we fought. Andre finally got to kill Thaisa.
Yeah.
We got to see Sierra and the Prince in action, which was cool. Bob chopped some heads off. Vicenta realized that the hooded guys were like, they had,
specters trapped in them.
Trapped in them, yeah. I was like, I don't know the correct term, but they had specters trapped, and so Vicenta was able to like tell them to go and send them back. Iris bit a guy, and that was about it. And then it got trampled by a bunch of, were they shovelheads that came out of the mound or something different? I can't remember.
So, if you guys want, this might depend on whether I tell you what they are or not. Give me wits plus occult. And this is only because we're going around rumors from the town of what you might heard and whether you can put things together.
2 regular and 1 with stars.
2 regular, 1 with stars. Okay.
So 3 successes.
3 successes.
I got 2.
Okay. All right. You actually are told by the prince what they are, and she heard this in turn from Dutch. They are known as unbirthed.
Unbirthed. Gross.
Yeah. So usually thin bloods don't last very long in the Black Hand, aka the Sabbat. And so there is a ritual where those that don't have what it takes and have reached final death are thrown into a mass grave, and there is a process to bring them back. But they are a soulless, shambling monster that just runs around with no rhyme or reason to what they do.
Well, they trampled Ig, but he was able to get out. Vicenta panicked and ran to him, and they were both getting smothered. But Tony C had given them some potions that made them fly, and I was like, Ryan, if you make them die like this again, I will kill you. But they didn't die, but Iggy is in torpor. And then right before Andre had killed Thaisa, she said something like, "We win." And then we got calls that in the city, the cops were dealing with the Vost.
Yeah,
and all the things that trampled Ig were running throughout the city too. So while we were fighting, they had planned to cause even more terror in the city. So it was a win, but also a loss.
Yep.
National Guard got called in too, so we are pretty fucked.
The special National Guard.
Yeah, the special one. So not happy about that.
Your new friends.
Fuck no.
That's a pretty good synopsis. Yeah. When we pick back up in our game now, 2 months will have passed. And there are some things of note before we move much further. And after we go over these, we're going to kind of go and let the players discuss what they've been doing in the downtime. And I'll also give some little tidbits that they may not have been aware of. They were all nice enough to come up with some stuff and share that with me this week. And we'll go through those things and then get back into the game 2 months later. So it is about late September at this point. Just over 2 months have passed since the Sabbat attack, and hopefully the destruction of that organization in the city. But much has happened in that time, these 2 months. It's been very busy. The first is that the city council called for, and it was approved, for the New Orleans Special Task Force to be completely disbanded.
Oh, fuck.
No one loses their job. It's just that is no longer a department within the New Orleans Police Department.
You said the council voted for that?
Yes.
So do people just get transferred to different departments then?
It's not even that. So the New Orleans Special Task Force is kind of like SWAT. You're still a cop on your day-to-day life, but when the Special Task Force had to be called in for certain things, it's no longer there. They've just turned it into SWAT. So a lot of those guys just moved over into, doing SWAT team.
Gotcha.
So Robert Carter was the police chief. Is he still the police chief?
He is still the police chief as of this moment.
That doesn't sound promising.
No.
Do what?
I said that doesn't sound promising.
So, like I said, everybody kept their jobs, but a federal agency of some sort has taken over the work that the New Orleans Special Task Force was doing. A federal agency.
I don't like that. Nope.
The prince has banned any direct communication by email, text, or cell computer of any kind.
Easy for me.
The only way that it's allowed is if you have an intermediary that is a mortal, a Gould retainer, or something like that, call on your behalf and set up a meeting place for a meeting place. It's hush hush, stay as low and underground as we can at this point. And anyone considering breaking that rule is breaking a decree by the prince. While it's not a tradition break, it's still a pretty hefty thing if you're caught doing that. There has been an Elysium called. It is going to be, when our story picks up, the very night that we begin. What do you know? And the Elysium site is a place called the Delta Knight. It is a restored vintage steamboat that they are going to take out well onto the Mississippi, somewhere in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, getting well outside of city grounds and into a wider part of the mouth of the Mississippi.
I'm dressing up. Steampunk theme.
Awesome.
Before we go into it, Adam, I do want to go over a little bit about what Sierra reveals to you one night. She, after a moment of drinking some blood that had been, shall we say, seasoned with a night of partying by an individual, comes in and starts talking to you and, is doting on you and lets it slip very briefly that she says, I knew it would all work out. The things that I put in place to get you where you are would work out. It's kind of like a pause. What do you mean? Mm-hmm. Of course. And then she spills some information that when you were mortal, she was working behind the scenes to set your life up in a way, for better or worse, that would isolate you from your family, that would cause you to lose a relationship that you had. And we'll get more into that later. That is player knowledge. It's not character knowledge at this point. Mm-hmm. That you would be investigated by the FBI for some unethical transactions in business, and that it basically would put you out of favor with your father and your family, isolate you from them, and allow her to get close to you. She's done some fucked up stuff in your life, but what is Andre's reaction to all this?
When Andre finds out, it hits him like a ton of bricks, because he had an idea of how his life was outside of his new kind of vampire life, in the relationship that he thought he had with his father, and to know that it's all gone. He's initially furious about it, saying like, why did you do this? I can't, how could you do this to me?
Yeah.
And I guess, Sierra explains it. He, after taking a little bit of time to think through it and kind of getting more in touch with his La Sombra side and learning that she did this she did this to make him a La Sombra, and this is just like what they do.
Mm-hmm.
I think he ends up coming to terms with it and finding a bit more respect because it helped him reveal who he truly is, and that deep down he really can rise to the occasion. And like when shit seems like it's all, gone to ashes, he can still rise up and try to take power and win and do all of that.
And so he does, and does that by, since he has a fallen out relationship with his father, ends up dominating his father to take control of the Performance Trust Capital Partners.
Yes.
You also get a nice little bonus from this. You're going to take 2 stains to your humanity, and you no longer have the touchstone of your father. Instead, it is replaced by one Amber Rollins, who is now a blood doll to you. And you have also, because you're able to get Daddy's money and manipulate him from behind the scenes, you give $250,000 to the campaign of
Holy shit.
Calvin Butch Rollins for mayor.
Yes.
Holy fuck.
Amber and her family are now your new touchstone, as far as what your father's touchstone represented.
Okay.
Damn.
You also said you wanted to get more involved with the Catholic Church. There is a roadblock to that by the name of Father Iago. If you're going to have to talk to him, you're going to have to get with Iris first, because that's your in.
Okay. Then that would be something that he may go. So because he doesn't know that Iris is like the way into that.
No, and it would be one of those things where you would go and it's like you feel like
a
there's
little uncomfortable.
a little uncomfortable. And you may have even tried to dominate a priest that's there and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And it's like, why didn't this work? That's not good, and it's like they had some sort of resistance to it. So, AKA ghouls. Usually they have a little bit. If their sire has a .1 in something, they can stand a chance to resist it.
So if that, in that case, he would speak openly to his coterie about doing that. And
we'll get there.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on the back burner for now.
Yes.
Then we come to Bob. So Bob and Jeff, stop me if you have anything else to contribute. I certainly want to make sure. But let's go ahead and kind of give what you're wanting to do in your background there.
Yeah, so Bob would have probably, because he was gone for quite some time before he got back and started spying on the coterie, he would probably be trying to reestablish some old ties because he was extremely busy up until the fight with the Thin Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
So anything with that, he probably would be working on that. He would also talk with Avery and Roger about Anthony Walls and try to see what their thoughts are. He would probably be trying to push Avery in the direction of telling the prince sooner rather than later. Mm-hmm. How that works out, we can talk about that. But
well, let's actually talk about that now. So what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to give you, you can make this roll 3 times and you're going to add your totals together cumulatively. You're going to roll intelligence plus investigation, kind of your legwork phase is what we're going to, over the next several months and I have a certain threshold that you're trying to meet. You do not have to worry about rolling hunger dice in this instance.
Okay. Well, I'll just...
Yeah, you can just roll it as is, but you're not going to get messy criticals or anything like that or bestial failures.
Ooh, that was not good.
Time to switch those dice out.
Let me...
You can willpower if you want.
I do.
Okay. That will take off from what you start with the game, which everybody's been refreshed on their health and willpower. But.
All right, so you can roll up to 3?
Yes, 3 black dice.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, that's right.
3 any dice in this case.
Right.
But yes, normally.
Okay, so 3 successes.
Okay. Go ahead and do it again.
3 successes again.
Okay.
4 successes.
All right. Well done. You met the threshold. So, what you discover is that in all likelihood, he came and went. He set something in motion, got in and got out because he was banished.
That little bitch.
Anthony Walls had been banished when his father had been dethroned because the prince and most other members in the Camarilla knew he was a liability. So instead of letting him, it's either, hey, we're going to put you in the sun or you can leave town. And he chose B. But what you do find out is that he's working out of Houston now. Houston is about 5 hours drive from here. So you definitely could make it there and camp out for the night and then head back the next day if you needed to. So it's entirely possible for him to get up there, strike, and get back. But Houston's a big city.
Yeah.
And if you want to dig later into that, keep that in your back pocket. And that is what you have learned.
Okay. Cool.
All right. And then you had some stuff you wanted to take care of with Kiki?
Basically, Bob would probably have went to her and been offered to help her get her SUV fixed. She would have probably, because she's pretty independent, she probably would have told him, that she already had it under control.
She does. She's reluctant at first, but then realizes, well, hell, you're giving me something back. I might as well take it.
Okay.
You enlist the help of one Elvis Seville.
Oh, yeah.
And you are able to get that vehicle up and running in good shape.
Nice.
Did you write down the name, D?
Yeah, I got to update it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know his last name.
We didn't have a last name
Nope.
until now. The last thing, Bob would probably also want to talk to Robert Carter about the whole situation, and maybe that's where we learn all that.
We will do that in game.
In game, okay.
Yep. About Catherine Morel and what's going down there.
Yep.
We will do that in game for sure. Vicenta, you had a laundry list, D.
Yes, I did.
But we'll touch on some high points, okay?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a little update. You wanted to know about Quentin and what was going on there. He has recovered
Okay, good.
physically.
Yeah.
However, the burns were extensive, and he had to get grafts over 70% of his body.
Oh, he's no longer a silver fox.
Yeah.
He can still.
So he will probably never be the same.
Yeah.
It's a lot of physical therapy, to get that skin to become pliant and not be in pain. It's a long, long road. You said you had a offering that you wanted to do for him?
It was more of a just if he wanted to go the route of unofficially retiring early, meaning he would still be on the business's books as being employed, but it would be as a not a counselor, a consultant. Thank you. And that would continue up until he could reach official retirement age. That way he would still be getting his full paycheck that he normally would without having to come in. He still keeps his insurance. He, still will be able to draw full benefits when he actually does retire. But if he wanted to retire to his cabin early, which it doesn't sound like he's going to be able to if he's got physical therapy and all that.
Right.
But just the option, she's certainly not giving him the boot.
Right.
It is very much a what do you want to do, and we will make it happen.
And that is appreciated by him. But he doesn't have an answer at this time. He would like to continue to work when he's able to, but, right now he's on basically long-term disability.
Yeah.
But that can certainly be something we'll come back to. Put a pin on it. You also have a matter of needing to feed and not having a supply of bodies now that your place has been demolished. The process has started.
We got everything out,
You
right?
did, of course.
Okay.
Anything that was of value and was not damaged in the fire, you're able to get out.
Okay.
So it won't be totally starting from scratch. And a lot of this stuff can be repurposed, put back in, especially like the cooler walls, and all the tools and all those things. I mean, most things were able to be salvaged, that they're in storage right now until the time comes for this building to be reconstructed, which I believe, Adam, you had said Andre was wanting to rebuild.
Yes.
And you're wanting to have the same tenants?
As in Iris and Vicenta?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I was getting real mad at that hesitation.
I was just trying to think. It was more like, why are you asking me that? Like, probably would be the case.
Sure.
So, while that process is happening, there's a matter of food, which you had discussed about asking the Nosferatu last game, mentioned briefly in the background about needing rats. You do have that conversation with Avery and Roger, and they agree. In exchange, they ask that a boon be paid. And that boon is to assist Bob with any future investigations into Anthony Walls and Catherine Morell.
Ooh. That's an easy boon to fulfill. So she was expecting way worse.
Yeah, it is a dangerous thing. They think Bob is perfectly capable of handling himself, but knowing that you can deal with spirits, it's also something that they would want to pursue. Any leg up that they can get, they want it. So that's what that's about. Ig comes out of torpor after a couple of weeks.
Yay!
You were still providing him with blood and letting him not come out in a frenzy.
Right.
And he's there. And finds out when he looks at you lovingly waking up. I guess you admit that you've blood bonded him further, or
she tells him what happened and why she did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't she was trying to bond him. It was that you needed blood right then, and that was all that I could get.
Well, he seems very understanding and very forgiving of that.
I'm sure he is, and she feels like a shithole. She does offer,
And he refuses.
damn it.
She was going to offer to blood bond him. Let her be blood bonded to him.
Yes.
Does that cancel it out?
No, it
No.
causes a very dangerous cocktail to start forming.
Yes. But it's Vicenta, and let's be real.
Yeah.
That's something she would do.
There is one thing to talk about, though, in these weeks that he's been back.
Yes.
Something is off about him now.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
There are long periods of silence, and his conversations with you seem to grow shorter and, for lack of a better word, simpler.
What the fuck?
Ferox.
Very surface level with his answers.
Is it all the time or just some of the time?
Some of the time. Hit and miss.
Maybe he's just
Is-
moody.
Is this similar to whenever he was having the blankouts, or is it different?
That's what
Different.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
It's different.
Does she realize that this is probably the Ferox aspect coming to surface?
You might. You might, especially when he talks about himself. Ig wants this,
No.
or Vicenta want instead of.
Oh my Christ.
And then he kind of catches himself, corrects himself, and keeps going. But now that you think about it, you've heard him do this before.
She has heard him do this before at the night of the Garden Gate Apartments.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I think Vicenta's kind of wondering if Ig is more like she is. Like, she has her shadow, she has this eidolon, she has what everyone would consider a base part of her psyche. They're all Vicenta, but they are also have their distinct entityness as well. And that's from Wraith. That is Wraith.
Yeah.
Shit.
But also, he was completely psychologically broken before he died.
Right. So she doesn't know if it's that or if it's something like, yeah, she's probably, since that has come up, she will probably be investigating that somewhat.
Okay. You also wanted to request a wraith from the Harbingers of Assure to discuss Lapis having what you called stolen Oblivion powers.
Yes. That is pretty much a flat out lie. She does not care.
Okay.
Because Sierra was like, oh no, I mean, we can all do this. But Vicenta is trying to make it out that, yeah, because probably one of the reasons that she was allowed to come to New Orleans was that she was supposed to be wrapping up business there. I'm sure that the Venice knows about Ella Messina. I'm sure that they
They've probably known about her a while.
yeah, exactly. So she's very much pinning this on Ella Messina. Ella Messina spilled the beans to people she should not have spilled it to. These people have knowledge that is supposed to only be ours. Ella Messina is dead, as far as I can tell. If you want to try to dig her up from oblivion, or if you want to call a blood hunt, if you think otherwise, that is completely your prerogative. Far be it from me to, call that. But she is requesting that there be a blood hunt called on Lapis.
So eventually, you find one day a wraith, a representative from them, who is merely a messenger, saying that the terms may be agreed to, but only on condition that any members of Clan La Sombra attend their gathering with you when they choose to meet. Why? They don't tell you. But if you were going to guess, the way that the Wraith says some things, just like, hey, things are coming up. We need to have, some things in order. It's probably about 2028 getting here.
Right.
And what that looks like if they're going to have any sort of presence in this city. So it's a watch out for you thing, but it's also hey, we want to make sure we drive home that, we have this and we have the chops to back it up with other people helping us. So that seems to be the move there. Then, last but not least at all, Iris.
Yay.
So you told me that you're wanting to get on Tony C's good side.
Yes.
You find yourself talking to him sometimes. And the strangest thing is he confides in you.
Yes.
You find yourself being confided in him a lot about the loss of his child, about the grief he feels towards that, about the burden he feels of being in his position in the city, being dependent on people like him to keep other kindred alive with the choices that are made. It seems that you have become a proxy for the prince's ear.
Okay.
Oh.
Sweet.
In that he knows he can't express these concerns to her directly, but maybe by expressing them to you, they can get to her somehow.
Okay.
Whether or not he really sees that as happening, only I know. But that is why he confides in you. And as a matter of fact, I would say you even have a friendship at this point.
Cool. All right. I like that.
You wanted to make sure you communicated with Prince Charity.
But only on spirals.
Right.
Because I
only
don't know how much other people know about our relationship.
within the cobweb. Yeah. So you also wanted to find out about the public opinion in your role in the battle that she talked about.
Yes, I'm curious to know if people found that suspicious that it was me helping her, or if they may have just shrugged it off as she can't fight, so this works for her. She's also a Malkavian.
Yeah.
She is curious to know that, but she doesn't want to show all her cards, obviously.
Well, in your conversations with her, in the times that you are able to connect with her through the Madness Network, she does tell you that people don't seem to have gotten much from that.
Okay.
There were whispers of, well, why did she do that? And then she said she's not capable of, doing much else other than
That's
being
fair.
a spy or
That's fair.
a reconnoiter, and doing these things for us. And a lot of it was dismissed, but she does say that there are a few people that are already of concern that it only drove suspicions more,
Okay.
which is why she did it, she admits.
Okay. Interesting.
Because she wants to stake a claim that you are not to be touched.
Oh, sweet.
You wanted to also knit Quentin a pillow
Yes.
and then do something for Heinrich in his memory.
Yeah, I haven't decided what to do. I think being there for Tony C is probably the best, because I couldn't think of anything good.
And that goes very far.
Okay.
Like I said, I think you have an ally there.
Sweet.
You also said you wanted to work and keep tabs on Catherine Morell.
No, I didn't.
Did you not?
I said the Second Inquisition.
That is Catherine Morell.
What? Did we confirm that last time?
It's all but been confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
because she was the one that called in the
Oh shit!
National
Because
Guard.
she's the yeah, she's the one who called him. Yes, sorry.
Right.
I kept thinking of them just coming in and swooping in.
Right.
Yes, I want to keep tabs on what they're doing, kind of.
Work through Roger and Avery. Is
Yes,
what you
very
said.
distantly because I
Yes.
am very scared of them, but I also want to kind of know, like, are they getting close? Are they buying sheep? I don't know.
They-
Oh fuck! They bought a ranch. Everyone evacuate.
It's out the Venetian Isles.
they agree,
Cool.
but there is a condition.
Oh.
They would like you to work with Mr. Stokely on that.
Okay.
And they know that Andre and Vicenta likely will follow suit.
Okay.
They want you to report Andre and Vicenta's actions to the prince if anything comes up that looks like it might be a conflict of interest to the Camarilla.
What?
I knew that was coming.
Okay. Do they have any hints on what those actions might be?
They say that they trust your, and then they stop Mr. Stokely's judgment on that matter.
All right, loud and clear, fellas.
All right. That brings us to now. You find yourselves waiting at a dock. All of you, Ignacio included, Sierra, Roger, and Avery, people you've never seen before. Maybe you have, Bob. But a lot of these faces are unfamiliar to several of you. And it's not all the kindred of the city. You have been told to come at certain times. There will be a boat that comes and gets you and takes you to the Delta Knight, which is where Elysium is being held. It is a riverboat, as I mentioned earlier, and it is anchored in one of the widest parts of the Mississippi River. As the boat that you are all on inevitably approaches the Delta Knight, you see people in suits holding submachine guns, or what would be legal therein, basically modified guns that can shoot very fast, but on the surface, no one would ask any questions. Security is very tight on the outside of the ship. As your boat arrives and you make your way on, it is a very different story once you make your way inside what used to probably be a gambling hall. And there are retainers, blood dolls, on hand for anyone that needs to feed before things begin. There are people in little groups talking to one another, nervously, some excited, some laughing. Of course, all eyes dart at you very briefly as you come in, and some conversations you feel might have turned to being about you. Others may have just been brushed off and, going on about their business. But here you are. You are with what could be considered a pretty dangerous situation, because every kindred that has ties to the Camarilla is very likely on this boat this night, which is why security is what it is. As you come in, you even know Dutch was standing out there watching. It's not just mortals that are out there. There are some other pretty heavy-duty looking, the way they're dressed, it's obvious that they are gangrel, that you've never seen before, that are biker looking, kind of patrolling outside as well. This is a very fortified position. It also has the nice ability to be on the water should something be lit on fire. So there is looks like a lot of thought that went into making this as safe as it possibly could be. It's still very dangerous, though, all being gathered in one place. And your beasts are telling you that. So, if there's anyone you want to talk to at this time, feel free, because they're going to be there. But if not, we can fast forward to when Elysium begins, and the prince makes her debut.
This is what I'm wearing.
Let me see.
Okay, a Spirit Halloween
Yes,
steampunk
she would
outfit.
say
Oh,
Spirit
I love
Halloween.
Yes.
Yes, it's the Spirit Halloween adult Victorian steampunk costume for $59.98, listeners.
All right.
Is this a formal event, like kind
It
of thing?
seems
God, I
to be,
hope so.
but there are
Okay.
people in various states of attire. Roger and Avery have made it a point to wear very tattered looking suits to only add to the Nosferatu nature of themselves. Elvis is dressed to the nines.
That's what I was fixing. I didn't get that memo.
Nice.
I've got like a white tux and
Yeah.
all white,
Yeah.
everything.
You
Yeah,
look
he's
like
got-
Bowser about
Yeah.
to get buried.
Elvis
Exactly.
has like a baby blue 1970s looking tuxedo on.
yeah.
Looks like something that, you would see your parents wearing to prom in their old pictures.
Nice.
So,
I wanted to speak to Sierra.
okay.
This is the first time that Andre's gone through something like this, right?
Correct.
So he wants to ask Sierra, what is this? Like, if she knows what's going on.
She kind of, I've been to one before, but not with all of us.
Is this,
It's called Elysium.
like a gala, or are we going to go dance?
No, it's a gathering to discuss business of the city. And no violence is allowed here, no mind control powers, nothing like that. It's not that people won't certainly try if they are able to, but it is very, very frowned upon by them. But it is considered a safe place,
So,
which is why, and she points to the blood dolls over there, no one is to be here with their beast telling them what to do.
is Amber one of those blood dolls?
No.
Okay. So he'll just be like, so then we can relax.
Oh no, this is the most dangerous place we could possibly be in right now.
That's what I was afraid of.
Me
But
too.
I guess we'll do what we have to do.
We will. She kind of says that, I guess the word morosely.
Hmm.
Um,
The other thing is that Andre does want to and I don't want to we'll just do this kind of over time, that
Mhm.
he wants to try to speak and offer his services to other members of other primogens. Like, if you need anything,
sure.
please let me know.
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
Okay. Go ahead and I'm gonna have you roll something. Give me charisma plus politics, and just tell me what you get.
Two.
Okay.
One with a star if it matters.
All right. So some people seem receptive, other people seem like they're humoring you, but nonetheless,
Sounds about right.
You make the rounds. Bob, what are you doing?
I don't think Bob would be like trying to politic or anything. I think he's maybe mingled with people he already knew
Sure.
and just small talk kind of stuff.
Gotcha. There are a number of what is the group that you haven't seen these people in a long time since, honestly, probably since the Sabbat wars were happening in like the 90s and 2000s. And it's a group of Banu Hakim.
Oh,
And you know that the prince uses the Banu Hakim like the Banu Hakim tend to be asked to be utilized, which is assassins. But they seem to be not hiding their nature, if you will. Let's see. I can give you a couple names real quick. Where'd they go? There's one named Ellis Clark, and another one that you just know as Manon, and that is a female.
What was the other name? The Ellis Clark?
Ellis Clark and Manon.
Okay.
You know especially that Manon gets things done.
Cool.
And I guess you swap war stories. It's probably inevitably what conversation turns to.
Probably.
Vicenta, what is she doing?
She's probably just staying close to Ig. I mean, this is Camarilla. This is not where she is comfortable.
Yeah. She stays kind of perched back in the back, kind of observing everything.
Yeah, I like how you said perched.
Oh my god.
Is he literally perching or is he
No.
just okay? Like,
It's just a descriptor. Don't take anything from that.
yeah. Has he been okay so far tonight, or has he had a few episodes?
He seems to be staring off, but it's nervously. You know, just he doesn't know what's going on or what's happening either. It's the first one of his. I mean, I'm sure you've never done this before yourself.
I mean, not unless you count
Dark Ages.
Dark Ages.
Right. And this is not the same.
Okay.
Not even remotely.
Then, yeah, she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't like being surrounded by Camarilla.
Yeah. And Iris, you said you've shown up in your party dress. What else are you doing?
I'm just enjoying the spectacle. I'm looking at the guys with guns and these vampires I've never seen before and the blood dolls. And she's just wandering around like this is a party, kind of.
Sure. Well, as you're doing that, Father Iago comes up
Hello.
and he says, "Hello, Iris. Have you met? He's also of our clan. This is Mr. Uriah Travers. It's kind of a heavy-set guy. It looks like he might have, at one point in his life, owned this riverboat. He just kind of looks. I'm not saying he did, but he just kind of looks like he's probably
Steamboat
from back,
captain.
Yeah, from back in the day or something, or steamboat baron, you know, if you will. And he's just like, "Oh, Miss Iris, it's an honor."
Nice to meet
And he
you.
takes your hand and kisses it. you
Oh
know.
my, a gentleman.
From another time. Yes, I suppose. I can be. Like, Father Iago here has told me many nice things about you, and
Oh,
I welcome you to our city.
thank you very much. How long have you lived here?
Oh, a while. 150 years or so.
So you've seen a lot?
I've seen a lot. Yes, ma'am, I have.
Have you been to one of Charity's Elysiums before?
Oh, yes.
Does she call them a lot?
No. As far as her being princess, maybe the only fourth or fifth one I've heard her doing. They're not very frequent, but they're usually very important.
All the more reason to enjoy them.
Well, yes. And I suppose we'll find out what this is about. And he says that, and he looks back, and a hush has fallen over the room. As Charity takes her seat on the edge of a roulette table, facing everyone. And she smiles and says, "The kindred of the city have shown themselves to be true and honorable, and are attending this evening as requested. It is noted and appreciated that you all are here. I thank you for your attendance. I shan't keep you very long, because all of us, I'm sure, are nervous being gathered this many of us in one area. So I will discuss our business, and then I'm sure you can all make your own plans afterwards. But I will get to the important decrees. The first is a matter of a proposal. The proposal is that we have in this city 2 La Sombra. Room's really quiet. There is no member of Clan La Sombra that is currently considered a primogen. It has been proposed that one Andre Descartes becomes primogen of Clan La Sombra. I personally see nothing wrong with this, but I would hear any objections at this point. And at that point, Dutch comes in, and he's like, "No objections, sire. I think he'd make a fine one. He has my support." He and his sire have proved to be loyal members of the CAM in this past year and a half, or a year. He gives the exact time, you know, and I would see no reason for them not to at least be considered. And then a Ventru that you've only seen standing behind the prince steps up, Karen Chantry. And she says, "I and my clan have had misgivings with Clan Lasombra in the past, but I will not hold someone accountable for what their clan has done. They prove themselves by their individual worth. And I would support Dutch's proposition." Well, we have a motion and second. This is not a democracy, though. I certainly have heard all considerations, and I appreciate you both standing in the affirmative. And it seems like the opposition will not speak because they already know the answer. I approve of this. With a caveat, it will be a prospect roll, meaning that Mr. Descartes, if you accept this offer, will not be fully considered primogeniture, but for a year and a day's time will be allowed to speak on matters and voice the opinion of Clan Lasombra. If you're okay with this and you prove to abide by the traditions, as you have been, then we shall move forward. If not, no harm, we'll move on. Mr. Descartes, what say you? Then all eyes will, you almost feel that, turn to look at you.
Yeah, I accept.
Iris goes, "Woohoo!" and claps.
Well, that business is taken care of. We'll get to the matter of your acceptance in a moment and the consequences of that.
I love how it's consequences.
I know, right?
So I've heard a number of people saying that my decree about no technology is being very unpopular right now. I don't care. If you'll notice, not all of us are here. Those young children who met their unfortunate end helping save this city, and those that didn't abide by my warnings and have been disappeared. And everybody does kind of look around, and somebody mentions the Toreador. What's her name? But it's not Morgaine. They're talking about, somebody, a younger vampire that was in the city. They're just kind of mentioning her. Lucy? What's her name? Lucy? Yeah, Lucy. She's not. And then she speaks up. Yes. Lucy Jackson is no longer with us because Lucy Jackson kept using communications that she should not have. And Lucy Jackson was picked up by an organization known as First Light. This is very serious, my dear kindred. The enemy are at our gates yet again. And I would say that while we won the battle against the Sabbat, they have brought the war to us. And this is a threat far worse than the Sabbat. So my decree stands, and I hope you understand why. At that, everybody seems to shut up, and the guilty look of the cat with its hand caught in the canary cage, kind of comes across a few faces that you could tell maybe Roger included.
Ooh.
Were, saying that, no, this is not right. We need these things, She says, and my last decree, Mr. Ducard, please, if you will.
Okay.
Mr. Ducard, part of the agreement for Clan Lasombra being allowed to come over to the Camarilla has been that you are bonded to someone in the Camarilla. At your initiation, we saved that for a time that we saw as right to do such a thing. It is well known in this group that Dutch has Sierra bound to him. That bond should soon be going away. Yours shall be to me. And you hear Morgaine go, that's not what was promised.
I was supposed to go to Morgaine.
And she looks and says, no, it was not. But is there a problem with that, Morgaine? And she says, no. No what? No, my prince. Excellent. Well, now that that's been accepted, she takes a knife, cuts herself, and holds her wrist out to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what must be done? I mean,
So you drink. You are bonded to Prince Charity Toussaint at one level. As you finish, you look at her like, yeah, she's got the right ideas. Like, she's got her shit together. She knows what's going on. That would have been terrible to be bound to Morgaine. Yeah, this.
I mean, it would have.
I'm bound to somebody in high places. I'm bound to someone at the top. This is great. You don't know if that's you, your beast, or a combination of both, but you feel it. As she licks the wound on her own arm, and it closes up, getting all the blood to go away. One last thing. The matter of your absolute failure on ridding the thin bloods of this city and causing the problems that we had.
Yeah.
And she says that to you, but then immediately turns to Sierra.
Yeah, because he's still under his sires. His actions are she's accountable for his actions.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And at that, she says, Sierra, please tell me, what is the law that you have failed to maintain, the tradition you have failed to maintain? And she's like, what? And she says, tradition 4, the accounting. That is right. The accounting. You were responsible for him. He was not successful, and he brought this to us. Therefore, Sierra Riojas, you are banished from the city, never to return.
Holy shit.
At that, Dutch,
oh shit.
Sierra, Morgaine, and Karen Chantry all start to, that's not... My prince, that is very harsh. I mean, this is clearly this child's fault, not hers. He was given something to do, and she says, and he assured us that it had been done, and assured her that it had been done. And she did not then think to follow up on it. He handled it the best he knew how, because he has had no training and no tutelage. You are absent in his life, Sierra. We will train him. We will show him the right ways to work in our society. You have been a disgrace.
Oh my god.
And at that, several things happen at once.
Oh, fuck.
Sierra frenzies and starts to scream and cry about how the Camarilla is a sham and that she's done everything and that, she'll have her throat. And you see her start to...
Oh, fuck.
the
Sierra.
room starts to get darker. And Dutch, as quick as lightning, with red stained eyes, comes up and grabs her by the throat and looks her in the eyes and says, stop it. And the room gets a little brighter.
Ooh.
Sierra, you are not allowed to say your goodbyes. Your properties and everything are now property of one Andre Ducard. Mr. Ducard, do you accept these terms?
Even if you didn't want to, you've got that bond. That's going to be a hell of a thing to break.
I accept.
Do you say this? Sierra looks at you, you bastard.
What do you expect her to do, girl?
Everything I've done for you. You can't stand. And Dutch is like, get out of here.
The La Sombra needs its place in the Camarilla.
I guess they got it. And she stomps out.
Oh my gosh.
You're a La Sombra, Sierra. You'll come back from this.
Nice.
This is what we were built for.
I picked well, didn't I? And she stomps out. Now, that business has been tended to. Is everyone happy? Good, don't care. Enjoy yourselves. Plan and scheme as you will. Boats will be available for you to leave if you would like to. We have the boat for the next hour or so. I mean, all night, really, but I would rather you be out of here in an hour. Thank you.
This is literally the look Jacinta has on her face. What the fucking hell is this shit? I thought Venice was bad.
There is a tension you can cut with a knife in the air.
Bob goes to Avery and Roger and he once again reiterates the point that we need to tell the prince about Anthony Walls.
Yeah, she's back there taking attendance. We'll have to kind of get in line, but
Sure.
Roger has to watch over her. Dutch is likely not to be trusted right now. So, and Roger kind of disappears at that moment, and you know, you can kind of sense that he's going off to where she's, you know, waiting. Kind of behind this red velvet curtain, you know, off area where maybe like Pit Boss has stayed or something. And Avery is just like, well, I thought that might happen, but I didn't really know. She is full of surprises, that one.
Yeah.
Well, shall we get in line?
Let's.
And anybody that wants to speak to the prince for a little bit of time is allowed to.
I want to talk to Andre.
Okay.
I say, welcome to the Banished Sire Club.
I guess that was only a matter of time.
I wonder if she planned this.
Who's Sierra or the prince?
The prince. Because she was adamant that you take care of the thin blood problem. Maybe it was her intention that she blame it on Sierra. Get rid of her.
She didn't. I mean, she was vague in her wording of how to get rid of them, which in my new state, I showed weakness by showing mercy to those thin bloods that didn't need it. And had I killed them, this never would have happened. And whether the prince knew that I wasn't going to kill them or not, I can't be certain. But a lot of things would have had to fall in the right place to get Sierra out. I think she kicked Sierra out because she's a genius that knows that if La Sombra is going to be part of the Camarilla, then a fresh La Sombra.
Blood bonded. Yeah. It was a lot easier to control. My condolences.
Yes, we see that, and we see the world in very many different ways. But I must speak to her now.
Okay. Congratulations, and I'm sorry.
So you're gonna.
I don't need your pity as he walks away.
So
Well, you're
in
gonna
line?
get it.
You're getting in line.
Yeah.
Okay. So a few groups go by and you're getting in line.
Mm-hmm.
You're not knowing, but hell knowing. Are you getting in line?
No, I'm good. I might leave.
Okay.
That's exactly what Vicente and Ig are doing. We are getting on the boat and going bye-bye.
I kind of want to stick around for the gossip, though. Actually, I'm gonna hang around a little bit.
Okay.
We're out. We're deuces.
Are
That's
you telling this to Egg?
Yes.
I kind of feel like we have to know what's happening, don't we? We're going to have to abide by their rules if we stay here for any amount of time.
He's right. And she knows he's right.
We're trying to get our lives together and get the fuck out. I think we've got a good reason to, but
You're right. You're right. I know
this
you're
is
right.
a Camarilla city.
I know you're right. This is worse than Venice. Ig.
That bad, huh?
Yeah.
You talking Venice back in the day or Venice with the family?
Either one. Take your pick.
They like to do this shit, don't they?
Yes, they do.
It seems like no matter what's behind their name, it's like our nature or something.
Perhaps. Why am I so bad at this if this is our nature?
Well, let me speak. I'll go talk to her. Come on.
He actually, out of character, he does have a merit to speak to the Camarilla. A specific, like, that she will let him. She worked hard to get him access to documents to train him for this.
I'm just curious what he wants to say to her.
I don't know.
So you get in line. Iris, you see all your coterie mates standing to speak to your great-great-grandma.
I smile. That's nice.
There's an old, like, 1990s TV
You
in
don't have
there.
to say old like that.
Do what?
You don't have to say old like that for something in the
Old.
90s.
The late
The
1900s.
late 1900s.
Late 1900s.
Oh,
My nephews say that.
No.
Is this
Oh.
movie from the
19s?
19s? Yeah. The 1900s.
Yep.
Yikes.
yeah, it's a thing.
Get ready for it. It's going to happen
The new
more and more.
American Doll girls are from the 90s.
Yeah. From
That's
the
fucked up.
From the late 1900s.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's my culture.
But on that television, briefly appears a grasshopper,
Yes.
Nice.
and it just says, stay.
She salutes the TV.
Was the grasshopper a male or female?
It was just that Bug's Life movie.
Was it wearing a top hat?
No,
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that was charity.
Okay, I just want to clarify. I just want to.
it was feminine. You knew
I-
who it was.
Yeah.
It was
I
Jen.
don't know what happened to Erasmus.
True.
I'm just curious.
Maybe we'll find out in time.
I think he's hiding in that fucking crypt.
Oh, yeah.
He's sitting there listening to Vicente yell like a dumbass.
So, Bob, you and Avery find yourselves before the prince in short enough order. And he nods politely, my prince. We thank you for this audience. Mr. Soakley and I have information to bring to you. Mr. Soakley, would you tell the prince what you have discovered?
Yeah, my prince, thank you for hearing us. The Thin Bloods that were a lot of the problem were in the custody of the New Orleans Special Task Force. They were released at the behest, probably domination, of Anthony Walls.
You have proof of this?
Yes.
Mr. Walls was banished from the city. And he just decided to show himself.
Yes.
Do you know his whereabouts now?
Yes, my prince. Mr. Walls, after doing some investigation on my own, I have found that he has made his way to Houston. Houston is a big city. I don't know exactly where he is, but I do know that is his location currently.
That is unfortunate.
Out of character, Ryan, is Houston a Camarilla city or?
It is, but there are. So the thing about Houston is it's just this sprawling.
Yeah, it's huge.
So there are pockets. Downtown Houston is considered Camarilla control, but any of the other little outlying areas, other outlying towns, there's a pretty heavy Anarch presence as well.
Makes sense.
So it's kind of a contested city. The Camarilla, like in so many places, claims they have control, but the numbers don't show that. And if all the Anarchs got their shit together and rose up, it might be a different story. But it's not strong like it is here. But they've not had the problems that New Orleans has had that would unify people under a strong leader in times of crisis.
Sorry, I just...
No, it's a good question. And the prince knows this as well. And she says, well, that is unfortunate. And we can do little about that because that is another's domain, and we have to respect that. I can make some... No, I can't. I can get some couriers to deliver some information to the Camarilla there. And perhaps we can see if they'll give us assistance or at least let them know there is a traitor in their midst. But I do thank you for this information. I will act upon it. And I would ask that if you hear any more about him being in this city or even nearby, to please let me know and to consider him fair game. Do you understand?
Of course, my prince.
I would also ask you only to tell those that you trust to try to find him.
Okay.
Let's keep this very hush-hush.
Yes.
As much as we can. And Avery goes, my prince, it's the matter of, yes, I'm sorry about your task force. I'm sorry that was disbanded. The ones loyal to you, I would recommend that we get them transferred to other departments within New Orleans. Get them moved around. And he goes, it's already being done. Unfortunately, Mr. Carter is going to need to step down from his position. And Avery kind of looks like confused at that. And she kind of goes, there's a reason they got rid of it, Avery. And if they know something's amiss, we need to keep him safe. By stepping down, I mean one step further. He needs to change careers. In time, not immediately. He's about retirement age anyway. It's time for him to start thinking along those lines. It would look normal for a person to be a little disgruntled with changes and things being taken away from them. I would strongly suggest this to him. And she looks at you both when she says that. For his safety as well as ours.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Bob is like, yeah.
But that is your charge. I will let you handle that. As you will. Thank you both.
You're welcome.
The city owes you. In ways we can never repay. But it is noted and remembered. And he kind of, bows again.
I'd do the same.
And waking your way out or anything else?
I think I'm going to hang back and wait for some other members of the coterie.
Sure, but I meant any other business with the prince? Okay, so you'll make your way out. All right. Andre, you find yourself in front of the prince.
I say, my prince, thank you for the audience and thank you for what you've proposed tonight and for my role. And I want to extend a deep and sincere apology. In my new ignorant state, I showed a moment of weakness by giving in to being compelled to show mercy that I should never have shown to those thin bloods. And I assure you, with my most sincere, I don't know, sorry, I'm trying
No,
to
you're fine.
blank a little bit, but essentially that, I promise that mercy will not be extended as willingly as that ever again, and that I will do as the prince orders.
Is that sincere?
You asking me?
Yeah, is that Andre being sincere?
Yes. Yeah, it is sincere.
Okay. And she kind of looks at you, almost bemused. And she says, I think you'll do a fantastic job and go very far, Mr. Ducard. I think it would be in our interest now if you would entertain me. You have been given this position of authority. And I had charged you with growing the bywater. I understand you have been making some moves. You're dating a young lady whose father is running for mayor.
Yes, that was another matter I wanted to speak to you about.
Mm-hmm. Should he win, I would expect you to have his ear and to steer things the way that I needed to be steered.
Oh, absolutely. I'm his largest donor, and I'm in his ear as we speak.
Excellent. Well, we should be in touch about that matter soon.
Yes, my prince.
Is there anything else, Andre? No hard feelings about Sierra. You didn't seem to be too torn up when she was exiled.
Sierra was late to be there to guide my transition into my new life, and
she failed you.
She did. I appreciated what she did when she finally rose to the occasion and gave me the advice that I needed to. But in those early days when I needed her the most, she wasn't there.
It's a shame. Mr. Ducard, you don't have to worry about that anymore. All your failures will be yours now.
There will be no more failures.
Ooh,
I hope so.
Nice.
I very much hope so, Mr. Ducard. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you have made right. Continue doing your fine work.
Thank you, my prince.
Thank you. And out you go.
Yeah.
Then we come to Vicenta and Ignacio. You kind of nudge Ig to move up, and the line moves forward, and he does so. He goes in.
I go in with it.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I'm not just sending him
He's
in.
holding the curtain for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're both there, and she stares at you, and you stare at her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little uncomfortable silence, and she says, well, it's not 2028. Why are you here? And Ig goes, well, we have, out of respect, attended tonight, my prince. And you know that he wasn't supposed to say that. And she looks bemused at that.
Mm-hmm.
And Not yet, dear. Not yet.
Out of character, not a terrible thing that he did that.
Right. Yeah.
So-
I get you.
Out of character. Wait, what happened?
So they have the Hecata are neutral. They are not. They are recognized as their own thing, and the Camarilla acknowledges that. It goes back to a promise and an agreement made with Clan Giovanni in 1528.
Right.
And that agreement has an expiration date of 500 years.
Yep.
So they are still considered and acknowledged as their own thing under nobody's rule but their own, as long as they agree to abide by whatever rule is in the city. They have announced themselves and have agreed to do so. But they do not recognize the hierarchy necessarily. They acknowledge it's there, but their hierarchy is their own. And him saying this is like, when Hillary Clinton, was it Hillary that she bowed to? I can't remember. Was it Hillary or was it Barbara Bush or Laura? One of them bowed to the Queen. And they weren't supposed to, and it was like a big scandal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's like we're our thing, you're your thing. We're just acknowledging that we're on your turf. So that's kind of why it's like,
Vicenta also knows that in the past, some of the Cappadocians, which technically she and Ig are Cappadocians. Well, whatever, she is. Some of them have been kind of pushed out the door by Hecata to join the Camarilla. So she's kind of keeping that in the back of her mind, like, well, if we have to.
Yeah. and he says, well, out of respect, I mean, we see the way things are going. We have business to attend to in this city. We have a mortal family here. We would like them to very much stay in this city and continue their lives uninterrupted, knowing that we would have to come check on them if we were to leave. She says, if you were to leave, well, why would you ever leave, dear Ignacio? You're so welcome here. And he's like, well, thank you, Prince Charity. I appreciate that. But my wife and I would like to leave the city soon, as once our business is up and established. But out of respect, we thought it best to let you know that those were our intentions, and so that you knew what we were doing and what we were planning on. And she said, well, why, everywhere you go, you would leave this fabulous city and the protection that we can offer you here now that it's Sabbat free, and you had a hand in that. I'd be heartbroken if you left. And she says that about about like it came across. He kind of catches it and he's like, well, listen, I just think that we're just trying to live our own lives, Ignacio doesn't want that. Vicenta doesn't want. Must protect Vicenta. And he looks kind of.
Oh, Lord.
And he just kind of stares off. Excuse me.
It's okay.
And he just says, thank you. Like he doesn't even catch it. And he says, you're my prince. I thank you for everything you've done, and just wanted to give you that information. She seems to look at him for a moment and then look straight at you like, bitch. Like, was just staring a hole in you.
Why? What did I do? Can I do a roll to see what the fuck I
Yes,
did?
absolutely.
Because I don't know what I did.
Yes. You don't even need to roll because I'm about to tell you what you did.
Okay.
And she goes, time is a circle.
A flat circle.
Things that have happened will happen again. Things that should have stayed dead should have stayed dead. Heartbreak follows. It was always meant to be pain, and I am sorry.
What the fuck?
Well, she's about to get another dose of it. Because Vicenta stares at her, and before she can speak, it comes out. Let me remember what it was last time. Revenge for the lovers, blood for the brother, honor for the mother, and a will to break. All that's left is courage to change fate.
Good luck. The web is not static. Things can change. Things are not the same, but things very well could be. Do you understand?
I do not.
She's saying there's a chance you could change things. Good luck to you. But it's hard.
Yeah.
Almost impossible. But not impossible.
I mean, what else is Vicenta gonna do?
I don't know.
Vicenta's not gonna be like, well, it's hard. I guess we're just gonna do the same thing.
And I would give you this. You can be protected if you renounce the promise and swear your loyalty to the Camarilla in this city. There are things that we could explore that could help your lover, your child.
Is she full of shit?
Yeah, what the fuck would she do?
You want to roll for bullshit?
Yes, I do. I don't trust her.
I'll roll for counter bullshit.
Okay.
No. That
I don't-
kind of makes it seem like it was bullshit.
No, I'm just rolling to... I know it already, but I'm rolling so you don't know.
Yeah. What do I roll?
You're going to roll composure plus insight.
I'm going to do a blood surge.
You bet.
And I do get hungry, but that's okay.
All I'm rolling for is to see a target. That's all I'm rolling for.
Okay. Willpower that.
It's like you really want to win.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
5 successes.
She's not bullshitting you. She's being sincere, and you know in this moment she is offering you good advice.
Does it have to be taken now?
No. There's a cost to what she's asking, though, and you know what that is.
Yeah, I'm telling Venice to fuck off.
Right.
Officially.
Right.
Which means that there is a very good chance that there will be a blood hunt called on me and Ignacio.
Depending on how you handle it.
Which is exactly why she's appearing like she's pondering it over. Because she is. She's not rejecting it outright.
Consider your choices. You have a lot to think about. But in the end, what is there? Nothing.
Forgive me, Prince Charity, but I already know that to not be true.
Perhaps it's not the same nothing I speak of that you think. Time will tell. Something to consider.
Yes, indeed.
We'll speak soon, I suppose.
Yes, we shall. And as they're going to the boat, maybe after they get on the boat and leave, and because I don't even want any fuckers to overhear us, on the drive home, all she says about Prince Charity is, that woman is Ella Messina come again.
And it's like that bad, huh?
Yes. A necessary evil, perhaps. But yes.
Last one in line. Things are clearing out. you finally make it in there. And she sees you and smiles warmly.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tired. Tired of playing the role of hateful monarch.
Iris cannot relate at all. I was just like, oh, okay.
That's why I wanted to speak to you last. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay, that Mr. Descartes was moving forward with your business, and things are working well at Antonio's.
Oh, yeah. We're great.
I hear that he trusts you and confides in you.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good buddy.
I'm glad. He needs a friend.
Yeah.
We have very few of those in these nights. True friends.
I know.
I trust him. And he has never given me a reason not to. He has always been good counsel. You have my blessing. And I have told him so.
What do you mean? Blessing for what? Being his friend?
Antonio.
What?
And he comes out.
Are you getting married?
I don't know. I'm dressed for it.
She says, will you take her under fosterage
Oh.
to teach her the ways of the Camarilla and to keep her safe?
Oh.
And he says, yes, my prince, I will.
Oh, okay. Cool.
He is...
I'm so glad I didn't tell her that he's gunning for her place if he was right there. Holy shit. 'Cause I was about to.
Yes, I will. Excellent. Excellent. This is very much appreciated, Antonio. You have time and again proven yourself the right choice. Thank you, my prince. Well, I am going to go open this place back up, park it so these stupid tourists can get on this boat, and I'm going to take all their money.
Sounds good.
Would you care to join me?
Yes. That sounds great.
Excellent. She makes her way up to the front, talks to the captain. They begin to paddle into town. And about midnight or so, there's it takes you about an hour and a half to get down the river to where you need to be. And there is a group waiting to get on the boat. They're all excited, drunk, partying. Yeah, so you pull up and there's drunk people gambling, and you can tell she's using powers when she's playing poker very subtly to keep winning. And then when she's bored of winning, she'll lose some, and let it go up and down. But it's a pretty fun night. The three of you seem to have a good time. You see something very strange on Antonio for the first time in a long time. You see him smile.
Aww. Good.
And for a little bit, you can forget about things. Make sure it's recording. I did this last time. I'm not going to let it happen again. All right. Take the second part. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you party the night away, and the rest of you, I guess, are going off to do your own things. A little bit of a short session this time, but I'm sure there's a lot you guys all want to think over and kind of come together and figure out. I know we'll be talking on our chat probably this week, figuring, you guys will have things trickle in that you want to do. Let's go around the table real quick and kind of talk about just briefly what your character is thinking, all this stuff. We'll start with Andre. You got a lot thrown at you.
Yeah, he had some big changes today.
Yeah. The blood bond might be skewing a little bit of his thought process, but I think having the Primogen role confirmed for him now, he kind of has to be the Primogen since there's literally no other Lasombras left in the city.
Yep, by default.
You're still on Prospect though, still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know he is happy with the role and maybe a little sad about Sierra, but Prince makes good points about the failure on her end, not to check in about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's just essentially trying to atone at this point to the Camarilla because he's trying to get in and make them a bigger part of the Camarilla.
Gotcha. And what about Bob?
What about Bob?
That's why I said it.
Yeah, I think Bob is really concerned about Catherine Morel and the Second Inquisition. And I think that's going to be probably his top priority. While he's not going to turn a blind eye to anything that comes in about Anthony Walls, I think Catherine Morel is where he's going to try to push forth all his effort.
Well, and it seems like the Prince shares your concern with everything she's torqued down on. So, yeah, seems like a good path for him to explore.
Yeah.
All right. Dee, what about Vicenta?
Vicenta is pretty sure she's getting played.
Okay.
But she's also getting played at her one weakness. I don't know, just she really feels like the Prince is manipulating things. She's sitting there going, time repeats and blah, 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 and it's your fault and da-da-da. But in Vicenta's mind, it's the Prince that keeps pushing the wheel forward. It's the Prince that didn't deal with the Sabbat properly. It's the Prince that left it vague for Andre on how to deal with the Thin Bloods because not every Prince, not even every Camarilla Prince just wipes them out.
Right.
Like, they have a freaking Thin Blood Primogen in New York. Yep. So, I mean, she left that very vague. She's, the Prince is like, it turns, it's happening and it's turning. And in Vicenta's mind, she's like, but you're the one turning the wheel.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Well, it seems just from her conversations, and we'll talk about this with Monica a little bit as we transition, with Iris, it seems like the Prince thinks Vicenta's turning the wheel.
Yeah.
And it may be both of them. Mm-hmm. The way that they're reacting to each other that's turning it. That being said, and this ties back into the Wraith game, one of Vicenta's passions was courage to change fate. Mm-hmm. And that was her strongest one. Mm-hmm. Which what she keeps popping off and saying, even though she doesn't realize it, is talking about her passions. And some of them have been clicked off and they're done. Uh-huh. This is the biggie. Because once a Wraith completes their passions, they are able to transcend if they want to.
Yep.
So, there's multiple avenues that she could end up taking. She will probably take the Prince's offer up. But she's going to have to talk with the Mortal family. They're going to have a meeting and discuss this. She's going to have to talk with the representative in Venice because she knows for a fact that they are sending Cappadocian sleeper agents into the Camarilla in preparation for 2028. If she plays her cards right, she can get into the Camarilla without pissing the Prince off and without pissing Venice off.
Okay.
But it's risky because she's essentially a spy at that point.
How do you feel about becoming a foster child?
I don't know what it means, but okay.
So it basically means that he's going to take you under his wing and make sure that, because you were supposed to have a sire that was supposed to do some of that and didn't really do it.
Yeah.
And she was disappointed in that, but now she's giving you to someone who is all Camarilla. And
that scares Iris a bit.
Yeah.
Because she was technically an anarch in Las Vegas.
Right.
And
the Prince does not know that.
Oh, juicy.
Yeah, I never really bring that up with people. Like, I was friends with a Thin Blood back there, but he was nice.
That's right. You haven't brought any of that up.
Not nice to that hooker.
Yeah, he was okay.
Did we? Yeah, we did know about that. Never mind. Yeah. So Iris did know he killed a hooker.
Yeah,
but he was nice. He ate cheeseburgers and he didn't eat a dog.
Like someone I know, some dog eating Trevere Jeff played. She feels good because she thinks she's in a really good spot between being friends with the prince and friends with the seneschal. She's like, this is amazing. This is great. But in the back of her mind, she knows that Tony C. from Erasmus told her that Tony C. wants to be prince. Her premonition told her that Tony C. either will or is aiming to rise above all of us. So in the back of her mind, she's like, that's kind of a conflict. Is his ambition going to make her have to choose at one point? Or should she just sit back and just go with the flow? And then, of course, she has reservations about officially becoming Camarilla because she was able to kind of skirt it because the prince liked her and she was just kind of seeing how far that would take her. But now that this is becoming a reality, she's kind of worried, like, what's going to change for me? What's going to be expected of me? For the longest time, I just kind of flew by the seat of my pants and helped out where I could, but am I, one, going to be up to snuff actually doing Camarilla duties, and two, am I going to be happy doing that?
Yeah. I think it's almost like you're being groomed like Andre was, in a way.
Oh, God.
Was. I think he's probably still is being groomed.
Oh, yeah, he totally is.
But that's the cost of power.
Wait for the next 2 nights, buddy.
Yeah.
Does what's his name, Tony C, does he have the right of accounting to follow with her, or is that
No. It's just I'm showing you the ropes.
Okay.
Fosterage could be, it depends. You know, like if you had a bastard upbringing and somebody's like, hey, I got him. You know, I'll take all the blame. That's a huge thing you take on. But it's also, you could also just be as simple as, hey, I'll show them the ropes. Don't worry about it. You know, they're their own person. They've been around long enough, but I'll show them how the city works. And, you know, it's just like a trusted mentor type thing.
I, as a player, do find it a bit rich that Iris came up to me after the blood bond thing to be like, "Ooh, that sucks." Yeah. Everything she's like, blood bond.
I ain't bonded to anybody. I played my cards right.
Except
all I have to do is be friends with them.
She's your grandsire.
I didn't do that.
Doesn't matter. You're right. You're in her pocket and Tony C's pocket.
Yeah.
You're like right in between them.
Yeah, that's where she wants to be. She has no ties yet, and then the fosterage thing is a more cemented tie, and that makes her nervous. She likes to be able to be free and just do whatever the fuck she wants. So she's like, oh.
Is she as free as she actually thinks she is,
Exactly.
though?
She needs to
That's the problem.
to walk the line between being in a safe spot and having her freedom. And
She's pretty much done everything the princess told her to do.
yeah, but she hasn't told the prince everything that's going on. So she's going to have to decide when it's going to benefit her to quit being so passive and maybe take action. But she's not much of an active person. She just wants to live. So in the back of her mind, it's like a storm brewing of like, is this really the position you want to be in? Because you could be a lot more chill if you weren't hanging out with the prince of the seneschal. But she's like, fate brought me here. Fate made me the prince's great-granddaughter, and fate made me move in with Tony C and become his friend, so this must be where I'm supposed to be.
Man, you and Vicenta need to have a conversation about fate and the Lady of Fate, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yep.
Well, maybe we'll get there.
Yeah. Actually, somebody make a note, and she actually, because Vicenta considers Iris someone who sees. Like Cassandra saw, like she had visions in Dark Ages. She actually probably will come to Iris very soon and be like, look and see what I need to do.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. I hope I don't fuck up that roll.
You botch.
Yeah. You have to kill Ig. I don't know.
Well, a lot to see going forward, and we will get to that in the coming sessions. Until then, everybody's going to get 2 XP.
Ooh.
And we will close it up. And until we meet again, this is GM Tuck wishing you all a good night. Have a great one, everyone.